I feel like I just arrived in like JB. Very far leh, this place. So the story goes, right, this is one of those areas that I had a lot of high hopes for. When I saw this new launch coming out, right, I was like, wow, this district, this new launch is gonna be fire, you know, bro. But my sentiments could be wrong. And you're just about to find out why. In my last video, I mentioned that I have top 3 picks for the year, right? One of them being Springleaf, the other one being Penrith, and then there's one more coming up. And you must be thinking like, wow, not much new launches left for the year, right? So the SEN is probably the third one, but no, absolutely not. My third pick was actually Thomson View, but it's no longer this year anymore, so it's gonna be next year. Now that we have gotten that straight out of the closet, let's talk about whether or not it makes sense. The SEN is located over in District 21, one of those districts that I got very excited to hear about because we had phenomenal growth post-COVID, not during COVID, post-COVID. But having a look at all the data, right, I actually don't think that something like that is going to perform as well as its peers, and there are several reasons why. First up, let me introduce to you the project and what it is. There are about 350 units across 5 blocks and it's a maximum of 10 stories. You will not be able to find much 1-beders over here. Most of them will be 2-beders and 3-beders compact. Everything looks very basic. Even the developer, the fact that I had to Google them means it's a not very good sign. But they did do some higher profile projects, I must say. And you must be thinking that entry prices under $1 million, you know, prices starting from about $2,200 per square foot. It must make a lot of sense. But let me start my story on how the land bid prices over here have went. So same thing as all the new launches that you have seen in the first half of this year, during a time whereby land prices were actually rather subdued. Subdued because there were only 2 bids on this land, which the developers SL Capital actually won this at $840 PPR. And do you know what else sold at this price? Canberra Crescent Residences also bought in at about $800 PPR. Launch day sold about 40% at the average of about $1,900 per square foot. Springleaf Residences, which was bought in at about $900 PPR, sold about 90% on its launch day at 2175 PSF. There's part 2 to this, which is the latest project that TOP just across the road over at De Souza Avenue, the same place as where the SEN is gonna be at. You can say that it's different project, but come on, same area. The Verdale developers went in at about $1,000 PPR and sold to end users at about $1,600 to $1,700 PSF. How about the developers at the SEN? Here's the thing, okay, developers buying the land cheap doesn't mean that they will sell it to you cheap. Okay lah, post-COVID, labor not cheap, construction costs not cheap, time also not cheap, right? They bought it at 841 PPR and are going to sell to you at an average price of 2002 to 2005. That's probably the reason why a developer like Guacoland would make a lot of sense, because of their economies of scale. In this case, SL Capital, that's probably the main reason why even they buy cheap, they cannot sell you cheap. But you know what's the more troubling issue over here? If you look at listings over at the Verdale, some of these listings are already aged, meaning to say that they've been on the market for about 3 to 4 months. And if you look through most of the property good listings over there, there is one common word the agents are using, and it's the word cheap. That's a signal that the resale over here are not doing as well as you think. That said, it's really very puzzling because when I look at the entire D21, there's about 500 transactions done the whole of this year, just not in this particular area. I mean, we are quite close to the MRT lah, 90 minutes walk only. But of course, if all this doesn't faze you, then come, let's take a look at the Showflats. Take note that the Showflats are also done in a high ceiling format, so you have a better feel of the space. But the high ceiling only applies to, of course, the first floor and the top floor units in the development. So no, you don't always get what you wish for, but you do get what you pay for. I did notice something. The tiles in the living area is almost the same as the ones in the bathroom. Is that what you really want in your house? To be fair, the layouts are quite basic lah, and very functional, very practical, the things that they use. Anyway, if you don't like the things inside, you can change, right? Just the outside you cannot change only, right? All in and all those people who are interested in buying the SEN and CDs, please don't send C, okay? After all, I am really only sharing my 2 cents. And yeah, I'm just another agent trying to sell you something. But please, say real one, if you really want something legit to buy in this market, new launches are not always your salulu to everything. And as usual, my name is Mama Joo, always here to spill the proper tea for you, my babies. Okay, thanks, bye.